Hello friends, subscribers and colleagues, a very warm welcome back to another edition of Readings in Impact Investing. My name is Daniel Rosehill and this is a podcast I created at the tail end of 2023, dedicated to taking reports and other such material in the world of impact investing and replicating it in the form of a podcast so that you have one less excuse for why you didn't read that report when your boss asks. This is a podcast that can be found at readingsiниmpact.org. That's the website. And you get there download links to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So really everywhere you can possibly get your podcasts, you can get Readings in Impact Investing. Please pass on the link as this is brand new to your colleagues, anyone really who might benefit just from reading or listening to this information to keep up to date with all the stuff going on in the world of impact investing and sustainable finance. So obviously one of the biggest developments in 2023 from a sustainable finance point of view, and standards for that matter, was the promulgation in June of the two standards from IFRS S1 and S2. And I found a very good project note which evaded my attention in June when these standards came out. But it was prepared by IFRS, and I'm going to read that. It's 23 pages, so it's a nice kind of overview from IFRS. But I figured I also found this shorter document from Grant Thornton, and I figured that it would be worth reading this one too, just to get that external perspective on it and hear what they have to say about this. This is from Grant Thornton. A little bit about Grant Thornton from Wikipedia. Grant Thornton LLP is the American member firm of Grant Thornton International, the seventh largest accounting network in the world by combined fee income. Grant Thornton operates 59 offices across the US with approximately 8,500 employees. So small it is not. So let me read. So unfortunately there isn't someone, as is frequently the case in these reports. It's usually a team of people who prepare these. So there's no one I can specifically credit. So this is kind of written by the organization as a collective. Overview of IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. On June the 26th of 2023, the International Sustainability Standards Board, which is ISSB, released its first two international sustainability disclosure standards, the IFRS SDS, or the standards for short, that became effective for periods beginning on or after January 1, 2024. So I'm recording this episode on the 8th of January, therefore just over a week ago these came into effect. So these are really kind of brand new. Together, they mark the start of a new era of requiring companies to make sustainability-related disclosures. Background. The ISSB was launched by the IFRS Foundation at COP26 with the aim of improving the consistency and quality of sustainability reporting across the globe by matching the importance of sustainability reporting with the current regulations around financial reporting. To reinforce this message, the ISSB sits alongside the International Accounting Standards Board, IASB, and is overseen by the trustees of the IFRS Foundation and the Monitoring Board. They have a little schematic here on the right of the first page of this brief, showing the IFRS Foundation as the parent entity and ISSB and IASB sitting under it. And the text accompanying that graphic reads, the ISSB brings together the Climate Disclosure Standard Boards and the Value Reporting Foundation, the name behind the Integrated Reporting Framework, and the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB standards. Then there's also a quote, which I'll read on the front page, from Mary Shapiro, who is head of the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures Secretariat. The Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures is TCFD. So I know that there's a lot of acronyms and a lot of different organizations, and my goal is that as this podcast progresses, it'll be a joint effort, me and everyone else becoming clearer on exactly the different remits of all these organizations. For someone who is still unclear, as am I to a certain extent, I just want to say it's okay to gradually come to terms with all this. There's a lot of it to absorb. So let me just give you that quote now that I've introduced it from Mary Shapiro. The global economy needs common reporting standards to reduce fragmentation and drive comparability in climate-related financial data. Built upon the foundation of the TCFD framework, the ISSB standards provide a global baseline for companies to disclose decision-useful climate-related financial information that is critical for creating more transparent markets, helping achieve a smooth low-carbon transition, and building a more resilient and sustainable global economy. International support for global standards. Sustainability reporting is becoming increasingly important for stakeholders, with many larger companies already adopting some form of sustainability reporting to accommodate the demands of key stakeholders. One of the key challenges faced by many investors and other stakeholders is that they don't have enough access to good quality and globally comparable sustainability information, a stark difference to financial data. So that is just important. I want to just kind of like underline that, so to speak. That basically what we're talking about is that the mechanisms in place for how financial accounts are prepared, those are very, very specific and at this point well established, whereas what it's referencing here is that sustainability reporting, or for example ESG reporting, has commonly been self-directed. Like these big companies will put out these sustainability reports or annual reports as kind of, PDFs that accompany their financial reports, but they kind of prepare them how they want them. And this is a new era of standard setting in which the consistency and globability, is that a word? The global consistency and of these standards is being brought into harmony. The developments being made by the ISSB are therefore game-changing for sustainability reporting globally. This is recognized by the international community. The ISSB has international support and is backed by both the G7 and the G20, as well as the International Organization for Securities Commissions (IOSCO) and the Financial Stability Board, among others. Key things to know about the IFRS Sustainability Disclosure Standards. Headline, description. I'm going to read from left to right. Headline first, then description. Headline, same reporting date. Description. Reporting will be required at the same date and for the same period as the financial statements. Headline. Materiality, investor focused. Description. Materiality is the same as the IFRS definition, commonly referred to as financial materiality. Information is deemed material if omitting, misstating, or obscuring it could reasonably be expected to influence the user's decision. Headline, report location. Description. The sustainability report will be included as part of a company's general purpose financial reports. Report location in a company's general purpose financial report will be subject to regulatory or other requirements that apply to the company. Headline, forward-looking information. Description. Disclosures need to provide information on the impact of sustainability-related risks and opportunities on the company's strategy, business model, and financial statements over the short, medium, and long terms. Headline, TCFD aligned. Description. The 4 pillars of governance, strategy, risk management, and targets from the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures, TCFD, have been used to develop the standards. See page 4 for more detail on the 4 pillars, so we'll get to that shortly. Headline, statement of compliance. Description, a company is required to make an explicit and unreserved statement of compliance when the sustainability-related financial disclosures comply with all the requirements of IFRS SDS. And just to remind folks, IFRS SDS is the collective term for S1 and S2. They're also known as the standards. SDS, I think, it stands for Sustainability Disclosure Standards. Consolidation of existing bodies. The standards draw content from other current sustainability standard setters such as TCFD, SASB, CDSB, and the VRF. Overview of the standards released. The 2 new sustainability standards issued are as follows. Number 1 is IFRS S1, and that is called General Requirements for Disclosure of Sustainability-Related Financial Information. The main objective of this standard is to disclose all information about sustainability-related risks and opportunities that could reasonably be expected to affect a company's prospects. And second one is IFRS 2, climate-related disclosures. This standard focuses on specific climate-related information to be disclosed. Introducing IFRS S1, the general requirements for disclosure of sustainability-related financial information. IFRS S1 provides the basic requirements for sustainability disclosures, which should be used with IFRS S2 as well as the future standards the ISSB releases. The standard requires disclosures of material information about sustainability-related risks and opportunities with the financial statements to meet investor informational needs. It also requires industry-specific disclosures and refers to the industry-based SASB standards for guidance when identifying disclosures about sustainability-related risks or opportunities. Refers to sources to help companies identify sustainability-related risks and opportunities and information from everything other than what's included in the scope of IFRS S2. It also requires disclosures that enable investors to understand the connections between the sustainability-related risks and opportunities and the sustainability-related financial disclosures and financial statements. And finally, it's gap agnostic. The 4 pillars of TCFD. 1 is governance. Companies will need to report the processes, controls, and procedures that are used to manage sustainability-related risks and opportunities. The report will need to identify those individuals responsible and describe management's role in identifying, assessing, and managing sustainability-related risks and opportunities. Number 2, strategy. Disclose what management assesses to be the company's sustainability risks and opportunities and how management is addressing these by 1. Identifying the company's sustainability-related risks and opportunities. 2. Disclosing the impact on the company, including its business model, decision-making, and financial planning. 3. Explaining the resilience of the company to these risks. The standard provides details on how a company should report on sustainability risks and opportunities. Identify the risks and opportunities, describe the risk/opportunity, including the time horizon over which each could be reasonably expected to have a financial impact. Define the time horizon. How does the company identify short, medium, and long term? Companies are required to disclose the current and anticipated effects of such issues on its value chain and how these issues will impact the financial statements over time. 3. Pillar 3 of TSFD is risk management, explaining how the company identifies sustainability-related risks and opportunities. This includes an explanation of the extent to which these risk management activities are integrated into the overall management risk process. Concerning risks, disclosing information on 1. How the company assesses the likelihood and impact of such risks. 2. How the company prioritizes such risks. 3. The input parameters considered during the risk assessment process, e.g. data sources. 4. Whether the process is consistent with prior years. Concerning opportunities, how the company 1. Assesses and prioritizes. 2. Monitors, manages, and mitigates. Pillar 4 of TCFD is metrics and targets. Disclose how the company measures, monitors, and manages its sustainability-related risks and opportunities. Companies will need to disclose targets set relating to sustainability risks and opportunities identified and the metrics used to assess progress being made. Assurance over these disclosures is not a mandatory requirement under these standards. However, companies will still need to disclose whether the measurement is validated or assured by an external party. Introducing IFRS S2, climate-related disclosures. The 2 standards are designed to be applied together. However, IFRS S2 has been developed to capture climate-specific requirements, which include strategy disclosures that distinguish between physical and transitional risks, disclosures of their plans to respond to climate-related risks and opportunities, including how climate-related targets are set, and any targets it is required to meet by law or regulation. Companies should perform scenario analysis to explain how various climate-related events may impact the business in the future. Climate-related metrics and target disclosures should include cross-industry metrics that are relevant to all companies, e.g. greenhouse gas emissions. Refer to our publication on what are sustainability scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions for more information on greenhouse gas emissions. Industry-based metrics relevant to companies within the related industries, and company-specific metrics considered by the board or management when measuring progress towards set targets. And I will definitely do a reading soon on Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, because it's very relevant to not only here, but also to what the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is considering doing in the US, and what California has just done in terms of what they've introduced. Summary of timing and relief. Timeline. So just remember, this document was authored in 2023. So just after this was introduced, but before the start of the reporting period. So on the 26th of June 2023 was when IFRS S1 and S2 were released with climate-related metrics aligned to IFRS S2. And on the period beginning on or after January 1st of this year, 2024, the standards are effective for annual reporting periods beginning on or after the 1st of January 2024, but companies can adopt them early if they wish. Now that the standards are issued, regulators around the world will work to integrate the ISSB into their own mandatory reporting programs. Local jurisdictions will be responsible for determining local mandatory reporting timelines. We have also reliefs. The ISSB has agreed that companies can adopt a climate-first approach, giving them the relief to only report on climate-related risks and opportunities in their first reporting period. This will give companies an additional year to report on the full range of sustainability-related risks and opportunities. This does not override any local jurisdiction requirements that are in place on sustainability reporting. Other reliefs for the first year application include exempting a company from reporting on comparative information, disclosing Scope 3 emissions, and we'll come back to that, as I said, but that's important to know that that's a relief that in the first year is not required. Using the GHG protocol, so long as another methodology is used. Reporting at the same time as the related financial statements. This means companies will be permitted to report their sustainability-related financial disclosures after their financial statements, allowing for more time to collate and report on sustainability. Practical next steps for preparing to report. This is a recommendation from this Grant Thornton resource I've been reading from. Practical next steps. Get ready. Be prepared for the possibility of reporting on 2024 information. Remember, the sustainability report will have to be reported on at the same time as your financial statements, which will cause increased pressure on year-end reporting. The ISSB exemption noted above may be allowed for the first reporting period, but is dependent upon local jurisdictions and regulators. Understand your current position. Evaluate your current governance structure and sustainability strategy to ensure that it's fit for purpose going forward, and perform gap analysis to identify areas where work is needed to ensure compliance with the standards. Creating a sustainability roadmap. After understanding your current position, establish how you can address the gaps identified, adopting a timeline of key milestones for your sustainability journey, identifying individuals within your organization responsible and any potential constraints, ensuring good quality data, ensure adequate controls and processes are in place to help collate and analyze good quality sustainability data that will complement your disclosures. Familiarize yourself with the standards. Companies who are already reporting on sustainability information will likely have an advantage, but it's important to note that there will be some differences in the standards which you will need to identify. Not having a good understanding of all the applicable standards could result in lengthy reports containing duplication or omitted information resulting in non-compliance. Educate your organization. Ensure that all levels of your business have a sound understanding on the importance of sustainability to help drive, grow, and implement your sustainability strategy, ensuring there is buy-in at the top of your organization to encourage the correct mindset to filter down. And finally, how we can help. The we here is Grant Thornton and not me. We hope that you find the information in this article useful in giving you some insights into the IFRS Sustainability Disclosure Standards, IFRS S1 and S2. If you would like to discuss any of the points raised, please speak to your usual Grant Thornton contact or visit grantthornton.global/locations to find your local member firm. So if you're looking for accounting support to get into compliance with the standards, then do definitely consider contacting these folks. That's it for me for this reading, and that's it for me and me reading from Grant Thornton, I should say. This was just an overview of IFRS S1 and S2. Going to be doing the project summary at some point, and also talking about scope 1, 2, and 3 in reporting, because as we saw, that's been staggered. And of course, there is the SEC. I have to do an episode about that, as well as what California have done. So there's really a lot of I'm starting backwards, because in order to understand the present and what's going to happen during 2024, we have to understand a little bit of the context of what regulatory developments took place in 2023, and those include the introduction of S1 and S2. I hope you find this helpful. If you have found this podcast helpful, as I say, always, please do consider passing this on to your colleagues. That would definitely help, just as we get going with this, to build a little bit of traction. And do feel free to get in touch with me if you think there is a topic that I should do, a report that I should look for, or read. Even one that you authored is also great. A blog, a journal article, you name it. My email address is public@danielrosehill.com. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. Looking forward to coming out with the next one soon. And until then, wishing everyone a great day.